Thank you very much for these kind words and the invitation to this conference. I want to make a short comment on this morning's lecture. It's not true that there are more than 100 trials concerning Holocaust denial in Germany. There are only a few on Holocaust denial. Another subject is incitement, but Holocaust denial, there's the Tobin case, there's the Deckert case. Deckert was the chair of the National Democratic Party, the right extremist party, still existing, now in question because of the right extreme terrorism we faced in the last weeks. And the last of these trials was on Bishop Williamson from the Fraternity of Pius X. He was convicted to about 7,000 euros this year, no, end of last year. So I wanted only to make these numbers clear that Holocaust denial, that we have this law, but it's not that there are hundreds of trials in connection with this law. I will talk here about more subtle forms of it's not Holocaust denial. It's, and I refer on Deborah Lipstadt also. She calls this soft denial. And to describe the phenomenon when groups of people refuse to commemorate Holocaust Memorial Day unless equal time is given to prejudices against themselves, Deborah Lipstadt has used the term soft-core denial. In criticizing the German historian Ernst Nolte and his equation of fascism, National Socialism, and Bolshevism, she also used this concept. According to Lipstadt, Nolte's soft-core denial is even more dangerous than real Holocaust denial because he, quotation, attempts to rehabilitate Hitler by saying that he was no worse than Stalin. With this thesis, Nolte, in the late 1980s and the beginning of the 1990s, found acceptance in parts of German mainstream. He has been one of the players in the so-called German Historikerstreit, quarrel between the historians, and thus influenced the public discourse in those years. In the end, Nolte questioned the unprecedentedness, if not singularity, of the Shoah and reduced the area between 1917 to 1945 to the concept of a civil war. In his newest book on the third radical resistant movement, Islamism, as it is called, from 2009, Nolte calls the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, quotation, valiant champion of the Palestinians, whom one should not refuse to honor, end of quotation mark. Nolte repeatedly cited statements that equated Zionism and the living space ideology of the Nazis, and blamed Israel as a fascist state. Finally, Nolte asked in his conclusions of his last book whether it isn't understandable that there is a, quotation, reasonable anti-Semitism of the population of the Palestinian territories who have been expelled by Israel. Since a long time, Nolte is a person who serves right extremist ideology and has put himself aside of serious historical science. Yehuda Bauer uses more or less the same term as Deborah Lipstadt when he writes, I quote, "I think that outright denial in the West is marginal, so it continues to exist. But there is soft denial, comparisons between Nazis and Israelis, questioning the figures, arguing for a difference between the genocide of the Jews and other genocides, etc., end of quote. I personally would prefer more to speak about Holocaust trivialization and diminishment, To describe those forms, Lipstadt and Bauer indicate as soft denial. Because it includes also non-political forms and the attempt to raise awareness for events that have nothing to do with the genocide of the European Jews. Abortion, mass animal transport, Sergei Legodinsky. I will show you then afterwards a few pictures of PETA, this mass animal protection organization. So the users generally do not target Jews, but want to attract attention. Other forms of trivialization, some speak of distortion, are targeting Jews and blaming them being the new perpetrators, the new Nazis, or equate the Holocaust with consequences of the National Socialist War in Europe, such as expulsions of Germans in the aftermath of the war, the bombings of German cities by the Allies, the city of Dresden, or in Italy, the murder of 10,000 so-called fascists, 1946, 1947, in the Foibe, that means the karsts of Istria and Dalmatia, by Tito partisans. This is a common equation in Italy by right extremists and also to a certain extent in mainstream to have these 10,000 people murdered there equated with the Holocaust. Holocaust diminishment refers to the tactic to minimize the numbers of the murdered Jews, not only to evade law enforcement in countries where there are laws against Holocaust denial, as in Germany or Austria, but also to reduce guilt and responsibility and to refer from facing the National Socialist past. The intention to minimize the Holocaust by belittlement, palliation, apology, or strategies against a deviation of National Socialism or charging with other atrocities for personal, but after all, for political purposes, is still an attitude to be seen in broader parts of the society. The internet provides not only Holocaust revisionists and deniers, but also those who trivialize and or minimize the Holocaust with new, previously unknown means of distributing their propaganda at the international level without restrictions. In this way, anti-Semitic connotations have become, throughout the past decade, more and more the unifying factor of different political and social areas. The main forms of today's anti-Semitic cliches, resentments, and prejudices are anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and a so-called secondary anti-Semitism, as we call it. That means anti-Semitism because of Auschwitz, after Auschwitz. That means to differentiate oneself from any guilt or responsibility, widespread in Germany and Austria, but also internationally. Extreme forms of Holocaust denial are mostly limited to far right and to some Islamists, but the intention to minimize or trivialize the Holocaust by belittlement, palliation, apology, etc., or charging with other atrocities for personal, but after all for political purposes, is, as I said, in all political and social segments, widespread. Relating the Holocaust to other events in history is a complex and complicated endeavor. It can give further insight into historical realities, but this is not the case if the comparison is based on a distortion of facts. Such distortions of facts may occur when the Holocaust and the images associated with it are used for purposes other than commemoration or gaining further insight. Notorious examples of this tendency are animal rights or anti-abortion movements that use the term Holocaust to gain attention. Referring to the Holocaust in a trivializing way, such as by making jokes, can be consciously anti-Semitic if it is done to offend and humiliate Jews. The Holocaust has become a theme in traditional and contemporary forms of anti-Semitism. For example, some integrate the Holocaust into anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, suggesting that is a Jewish matter and a way for Jews to gain, so the argument goes, even more money and control. The most controversial notion in this context is the idea of a Holocaust industry being allegedly run by Jews. Apart from that, new forms of anti-Semitism have tended to focus on and evolve around the Holocaust. Images and references associated with the Shoah are used in polemics against Israel. I will skip that. Only to give you an impression where the term Holocaust is used. Hunger Holocaust, that is the Holodomor, the plague of hunger catastrophe in Ukraine in the 1930s. The nuclear Holocaust, the American Indian Holocaust, the bombing Holocaust that is used especially in Germany to equate the Holocaust with the bombings of Dresden and other German cities at the end of the war. The Vertreibungsholocaust, the expulsion Holocaust, which is used by German right extremists and also some of the people who were expelled or their children talk about that. That is the expulsion of the German population after 1945, forgetting the reason why they were expelled. Then the Babycaust or the silent Holocaust for abortion, the Holocaust on your plate, Sergei yesterday mentioned this, the animal protection, and the Palestinian Holocaust. So I will give you some examples of soft denial, trivialization, and I will start with a small film on YouTube. It's an awful thing, but I think it's important to see that. I hope it's loading.
Wednesday, the 4th of May, 2005. 2200 hours till infinity. DJ Michel Verheidi. DJ Adolf Van Boren. Auschwitz. Tanzen macht frei. 7 million party people set their bodies on fire. Literally speaking. Haha. Dress code, just a skinny Jew. 3 days of non-stop partying. And gangbanging. While spending the night for free. Hot showers, free of charge. Train stops at party ground. Free taxi ride home.
Release from body.
The student Dick Tyson produced this video, which he says was supposed to be a gag, but for which he was convicted of a criminal offense by the Dutch government. The German versions by MySpace and YouTube indicate that this video is not available. So you see that they are really reacting in Germany. The video can be found on the net on heretical.com, a website by the right extremists, what is his name? Shimon Shepherd. So, who is currently in prison in UK for inciting racial hatred. So you can find it, but YouTube in Germany and MySpace reacted. And I think this is important. And, but it's also on Facebook. So one thing is that you can get it, but the other thing is, and this is important, that these companies like Facebook and MySpace and even Google is doing something here in Germany. If you print into Google in the German version, Jude or Jew, it's at least 10 or 15 entries with material on the Holocaust, with material on Jewish life. So let's say serious material. And then you get the first entry with right extremist background. So they do something, or it's even banned. There is written of reasons of protection, something, I don't know the exact translation in English, but that they ban also entries. If I'm searching something, I know that the German Google version is not giving you this entry, I will go through Google Denmark or Google France or Google Italy, and I will get this at the second entry. But I think it's just something that Google Germany is protecting us from these sites in the first entries. So this is to show you, as I said, the version of Bomben-Holocaust, the bombing Holocaust. This is a right extreme demonstration in Dresden in 2005 on the day in 1945 where Dresden was bombed by the Allies. And you get YouTube, endless YouTube films on this Bomben-Holocaust, on this bombing Holocaust, only to show you that there's a lot of stuff on YouTube on this. And this is trivializing the Holocaust because it equates with the Holocaust. This is now another subject. It's mostly on, this is on abortion, but the website Kreuznet is an anti-Semitic internet platform purporting itself as a serious online news portal with Catholic background. It has close connections to the traditionalist Catholic Society of St. Pius X. As I just mentioned, Richard Williamson was a bishop of this fraternity or society. So Kreuznet provides us with a lot of really also anti-Semitic content, and here you see that it's equating the abortion with the Holocaust. It's even calling Elie Wiesel as a Holocaust denier because he insists on public apologies for crimes against Jews, etc. I've not the time to point on all of this, but this is a German-speaking website, and I don't know, as far as I know, there was never has never been the effort to make a trial against them because they're really providing anti-Semitic content. Here, this is the story of the Jewish Claims Conference. You all know this, also provided by Norman Finkelstein. So they have all this stuff on it here. It's they cite a speech from Muammar al-Gaddafi at the UN in October 2009 against Israel and a pro-Palestinian content. But there are also initiatives against this website. Here you can see an initiative on Facebook against this website. So there is a counteracting on the web. And here's another counteracting website, which is called No to Kreuznet, to CrossNet. Here are other entries, websites on having this equation of abortion and the Holocaust. It's even called Survivors, and it shows pictures from concentration camps. Abortion, the Silent Holocaust, Animal Auschwitz of the Welfare for Animals Global. And this is the PETA campaign. Sergei yesterday also mentioned. And here you can really see that it's an equation with Auschwitz. You see the entrance door of Auschwitz-Birkenau. It's called the Holocaust on Your Plate. And there was a trial against PETA, and Sergei mentioned this yesterday, but they are not denying the Holocaust, or but they are trivializing the Holocaust using this term and using even the pictures. Here you see this equation between the pictures of concentration camps and the animals. So this is really equation, and till today they don't see this as a problem. These are the other pictures from the campaign. Here some more things to show you that not only this Auschwitz video I showed you use this as a gag, let's say. Here you see the entrance of Auschwitz, first one, and this is from a right extreme online news agency, Alta Media Info. It's not German only, there's also an English version. The caption of the picture reads as following: many young Israelis like to combine the visit of the gas chambers with a strip show in their hotel room. So this is, it's not denial, but it is trivializing the Holocaust. And it's, we would say, geschmacklos in German, I don't know. Tasteless. There's Auschwitz Spa, you know, wellness, Auschwitz wellness. There's holiday camp and health spa, always this connection to Auschwitz. I want to finish with this, I think, a very important issue on the net is, and not only on the net, but also in public discourse, the Israeli Nazi comparison. This is from the CST Community Security Trust, the British Community Security Trust Anti-Semitic Discourse Report from 2009, where they show that there were emails, email campaign called Holocaust Survivors, Some Graphic Pictures, Stand Up to Hatred. And this equates the Holocaust with the events in the Palestinian territories. And this is really something very widespread in public discourse, and also on YouTube. And I will finish with the last thing about one cartoonist who's very, I wouldn't say famous, but he's very widespread on the net, Carlos Latov, who provides us with a variety of cartoons. The most of them spread over the left-wing and anti-globalization website Intimedia, and he even won the second prize in this Holocaust cartoon contest, Matthias Künzel yesterday also mentioned, by Iran. So, but the important thing is that he's spreading his cartoons on anti-globalization websites, so on the left websites, and also they are also used in Islamist websites, and always equating the situation in the Palestinian territories with the Holocaust. Here you can see it. And here, this is also one of his first cartoons he spread, also via the Indymedia Swiss website, and I put the famous picture of this kid in the Warsaw ghetto to show you that he really takes these contents to equate the situation in the Palestinian territories with the Holocaust. So I think I will finish here because we are running out of time, and I wanted only to give you some impressions what is not Holocaust denial, but it's this soft denial or trivialization. And I think the most important issue is education, because this stuff we can't do anything with laws against that, or very minimal. It's not really something to tackle these trivializations. But it's important to make youngsters prepared for this stuff which comes over the internet. Not to blame the internet, because there's a lot of things also important for them, but to give them a media competence and the problem is even that the teachers are not knowing what is going on the web. So, but it's important, and we from the Center for Research in Anti-Semitism, we are trying to do something against it. And we even published now in this expert board you mentioned, I'm a member of the German Parliament. We published last week our first report, it's in German, focusing very much on this educational tool, and to make clear that Holocaust education, as we heard it yesterday, it's an important tool, but it's not the tool to prevent anti-Semitism. Because people who know something about the Holocaust are not prevented from holding anti-Semitic stereotypes. If you look on the deniers, they know a lot about the Holocaust, but they are anti-Semites anyway. So it's important to also show the youngsters these subtle forms of anti-Semitism, widespread in public discourse, and not only on the marginalized political extreme forms of political content. Thank you very much.